Hi, namaste. I hope this video finds everybody in light and loving spirits. Speaking of light and loving, I'm going to speak about a very specific topic. And it's, on one hand, it's an absolute privilege to see how the country I'm in right now, which is India, how it has certain laws and rights for animals. On one hand, it's a privilege to see that there are actually laws in place. Forget the fact that if you break them, there's hardly any penalty, but there are some rights given in this country to animals. And so in India, like in some countries in the world, you will see dogs on the street. They're street dogs, stray dogs, are Indian dogs. And they're absolutely a joy when they have grown up without any abuse. I'm speaking about this because the universe has always, 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 always in this lifetime utilized me to help animals. And the ones that I help are the ones that, cross my path. So usually it's dogs or cats. Unlike some countries, there's no animal control law that catches them and puts them down right away. There's also not a situation where an abandoned dog, an abandoned pet is caught and given a certain amount of time to get readopted before, again, it's put down. I know this is the case in America. I know it's the case in perhaps, I don't know, but it must be the case in some other countries as well. In India, it's not like that. There's no putting down. Yes, people have ended the life of dogs or cats or other animals out of anger, just a lot of negative energy that they're holding inside them that they're taking out in that way. But by law, they're not allowed to kill them. Nobody is. So I just wanted to take a moment, since it is a privilege to live in a country where the dogs on the street have their rights to live there. That also puts the responsibility on the human beings, being the species that has been given, just by law of nature, the capacity and ability to take care of the other species on this planet, do right by them, help them. So in India, there is an animal birth control program. I say India, but of course every state has its own, and it's supposed to be funded by the government. So that dogs, right now it's just dogs, not on cats, but so the dogs are caught in an ethical manner, not by a rope, but by, or a wire, but by a net. And then they are spayed or neutered, sterilized, given an anti-rabies vaccination, and then put back on the street exactly at the spot they were picked up. That is their home. They are territorial, they are secure, where they're familiar. Even if that familiar is not good for them, that's what they know, and that's where they want to be. They don't know another choice. If there's a way to home them, that's great. If there's a way to, we're not allowed to relocate them, but if somebody were to take them into a different area out of compassion and love and be able to take care of them there and keep them out of harm's way, that's like a form of adoption. That's super too. The thing I wanted to speak about has to do with the nature of dogs. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or what. I'm sorry, this is just kind of going nuts here. I don't know if this is a coincidence that, dogs have the same three letters as the word God. But by nature, innately, dogs are love. If they or their mother, when they were in the embryo of their mother, if their mother or they have not been abused, mistreated in any way, that dog is love from birth to death. So any dog that isn't has had some unfortunate experiences in the hands of humans. And when that dog or pup grows up through unfortunate experiences, by the time it is traumatized, it does not have the natural tendency to trust and love. And then, of course, it may behave badly. It may be extremely defensive, scared, and so aggressive. And the humans that find it along their life path, many humans will just get scared, want it to get rid of it. They won't think about the fact that perhaps they themselves, with their community, has created this kind of a personality in this animal that otherwise is pure love. And so it's like a karmic thing that happens right away in the lifetime of a dog with the humans. And whether it's any human, but of course dogs have a sixth sense and they can sense when a human is extremely compassionate towards them. But if they're so traumatized, by the time they meet this human who is extremely compassionate, they still can't just turn into pure love. They do need time. I'm talking about this because obviously I've had to deal with some situations in societies like the one right next to mine right now. There's a lot of good people there, good-hearted people, but there's also, ironically, for the first time in my life, I'm experiencing where even the people who perhaps once in a while or quite often put biscuits in front of the dogs or their own bread from their home or whatever to feed them once in a while, that nobody in that society has actually affectionately touched any of the almost 20 dogs that are there. Now, all those dogs are not going to reproduce because that part has been done just recently. It's been managed to be done. It wasn't easy because none of those dogs trust humans. They don't come close to them. So how do you catch them? But that was handled. The point being, though, that there's this karmic cycle that keeps going on, the fear factor, the fear that has been injected into the dog, and then the fear of the humans that just maintains that fear. And it is up to the humans. It is always up to the humans to make it right. Even if the human had never hurt a dog before, it is still up to the human to undo what another human may have done to the dog and to realize that it is our responsibility to bring love back as best we can in these situations. So if it was a human child who went through what that dog went through as a pup, witnessing perhaps even the death of its siblings in horrific ways, which does happen by accident or deliberately, if it was a human child witnessing or going through what these dogs have gone through in their life, in their young age, that human child would really be traumatized and not be a very good person, not trustworthy, definitely, and quite aggressive and harmful to others, most likely. But if a human child is misbehaving, the humans around, if they care about the human child, will try to correct the situation by communicating with the child. Well, the dogs need the same exact kind of communication, which is not something we're taught as we're growing up. You know, the adults around us are not telling us, talk to the animals. They understand. They understand your energy. They'll understand what you mean. And if you come from a place of love and compassion, they will listen. Even the traumatized dogs that are over a year old now, so they've been through quite a bit in 12 months of their life so far, even they will understand eventually if you keep at it in a loving, compassionate, understanding way. Sometimes you scold when you love. You scold children, human children, when you love. So, but if it comes with love, it's understood, the energy is understood, and dogs are exactly the same way as our cats, as I would say all animals. But we deal a lot with dogs here, so I'm talking about that. And I've been dealing with dogs on the street, even in the US, actually, ones that are caught. All my life. a recent incident allowed me the opportunity to talk to committee members in the society nearby. And I was able to share some of this stuff with them, though not all of it, but maybe some other aspects I was. And it's just so important that we communicate with love, with understanding, with compassion, even with tolerance, just like we would a human child if we're coming from the right place. They need that too. These animals need that too. And we can undo what we have unfortunately perhaps done to them, or anyone has. So let's just perhaps take this forward, you know. I just felt like putting it out there. Yeah. Thank you so much. God bless.